is on those guys to step forward as leaders.
No question. You know, but in terms of the first 4 games almost played out identical. But that was a different team, and this is a different team. But I would say this, that I don't think, for as young as we are, if you look at our body work in September, I don't think this group played worse than the group last year. Now, the whole key last year was that group really, really improved through October and found a way to win some close games and get momentum. And, you know, there's no guarantee that'll happen this year, but, you know, we're going to work as hard as we can to try to make that happen. That's, you know, that's what makes this profession so much fun, and every year is different, every team is different. But I like our football team. I think we have some good leaders, and I think we have resilient guys. And, you know, I mean, it's, you know, sometimes games like that happen. Sometimes the team you play is better than you, and if you don't play your best football, the result isn't good. And it happened, it's over with, and we got to move forward to Buffalo.
How the games have turned out in Buffalo the past 4 years, 2 in overtime, 1 last year at the last minute. You start to sense a rivalry developing between the 2 schools?
I think, I don't know if there's a rivalry developed, but I tell you what, they've been very, very competitive football games. I mean, here it seems like everybody's our rival. You know, we have a school to the north that's our rival. We have a school to the south that's our rival. There's a school to the east that's our rival. I mean, there's a lot of games that are very, very important games for Bowling Green. But what I would say is that in this conference, every game becomes a rival game. They all count as one. And when the season's over, you know, in the win and loss column and trying to win a championship and trying to get to a bowl, they all count the same. And I think what's been very interesting about the Buffalo game, at least for the last 2 years, the whole season's fortune for both teams kind of, you can go back to this game. 2 years ago, the winner of the game goes on to play in the MAC championship game, the loser doesn't. Last year, the winner of this game gets on a roll and goes to a bowl game, the loser doesn't. And there's no question that it's the most important game of the year for us. And we knew that when the season started. We knew that this game against Buffalo, of the first 5 games of the season, was the most important because it was going to be the first conference game. And I know they're, I'm sure, anxious to be 1-0 in the conference, and it's very important that we get off to a good start. But I would say this, we certainly have respect for them. Every one of these games has gone down to the wire. You know, so there's no illusion. You know, we can't come out and play well and think that this, you know, Buffalo's good, they're talented. I think they're playing extremely hard for their new head coach. They're very good on defense. They've played good teams. They've played Connecticut, they've played Baylor. You know, they've played against some good football teams, and their defensive numbers, despite their schedule, are very good. I mean, they're in the top half of the league, in the top half of the country, in almost every defensive statistic, and they have not played an easy schedule. You know, on offense, they have playmakers. You know, the kid Rivers can really go up and get the ball. I mean, he's a dangerous 6'2", 205-pound receiver. You know, Jackson, the one receiver for them, Ed Young, had 3 touchdown passes against Connecticut, and at times just ran by guys. And they're very, very dangerous in the kickoff return game and punt return game. So they've got good skilled players, an athletic quarterback who can throw the deep ball, and they run well on defense. So this is a good football team.
You hate to say that your first MAC game of the season is must win, but after what I'm hearing there, do you almost take that step forward and say it's must win? I
mean, when you say must win, I mean, you know, if we don't win it, you know, half our team isn't going to be dead the next day. I mean, it's, you know, you always need to put it in perspective, but in terms of what you mean, you know, for us to meet our season goals, this is a, you know, is it must win? I don't want to say must win, but if you don't get this one, boy, those goals become a lot tougher to accomplish. You know, it just, you know, to get where we want to go, you may have to be undefeated in the MAC. I mean, you don't know. You don't know if it's going to take, are you going to have to be 8-0, 7-1, 6-2? But the second you lose a game, you no longer control your destiny with that. And you know, we want to start 1-0. And again, I know I'm saying a lot of cliches here, and there's a lot of, and it's probably the nature of the sport and the job. You know, but it is a very, very important game for us, and our players knew that. And like I said, when the season started, you know, one of the reasons I said we had to be a better football team in October than September is we knew the second October hit, there was Buffalo, and it's our first MAC game, and You know, last year we lost the MAC opener to Ohio when we were fighting uphill the rest of the season, and we don't want to be doing that.
Have you guys taken any extra steps this week in practice to address the tackling issues?
You know what? I mean, when you talk about those things, it's not like we don't work on it every day. We've done more. I've never live tackled in practice in a drill before in my career, and after the Troy game, we've done it every single week for extended time. We're making our guys wrap people up. And if you go back and watch that film, there's times their guys made us miss. It had nothing to do with wrapping up. They made us miss. We had poor body control. We didn't break down. And at times their guys were a little faster and quicker than ours. The ones that concern me are guys that have tackled well the past 2 weeks, went back to some old habits, and that concerns me because that shouldn't happen. And, you know, if there was an easy answer for it, we would have corrected it before. But we just, you know, and I think if you break down any football game, there's going to be missed tackles. There's never a game you don't miss any. And a lot of times when a play is in large space, the better athlete is going to win. You know, how many tackles did Tyrone Proney break against Marshall on his last touchdown? I'm sure Marshall's mad, but you know what? I think Tyrone's a better athlete than those guys. I really do. At times, the guy in space at Michigan was a better athlete than our guy trying to make a play on him. But the ones that were in tight space, that we got a body on a guy and didn't wrap up, those are the ones that really upset me because we did that at Troy, we didn't do it at Tulsa, we didn't do it at Marshall, and I have no easy explanation for why we did that again at Michigan. But we emphasized it, we coached it, and the guys need to buy into it.
You probably answered this earlier, but what's the
Yeah,
status?
were you late today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but what's the status of Nashville right now?
We did answer that earlier. If you wanted to watch on one of the other stations.
Wow.
He's actually better now. Before he wasn't, but now he's better.
In the last 10 minutes, he got healthy. Come on, you know I'm kidding with you. You guys always get the last word. I got to be careful. He practiced yesterday. He was a little bit sore. He didn't get through the whole practice, and it's kind of a day-by-day deal. It's probably going to be a game-time decision.
Anything else?
So, Coach, last year in a one-touchdown game, under a minute left, probably everyone in the stadium, and they still didn't cover him. Everyone knew you were going to Freddie, and they went to Freddie. That's the case this year. You have Kamara's made a lot of catches. You have Tyrone's made some big plays. In your mind, you have a guy that if I need one big play made, do I know what I'm doing?
I tell you what, we are equally confident with the ball going in. It's really whoever has the matchup. And that's what's been fun about this year is, you know, if they roll the coverage at Tyrone, we'll work Kamar. If they're going to try to double Kamar, then we'll work it with Tyrone or Cal. We are confident wherever the ball goes with our receivers. So, you know, it's not a deal that we feel we need to force feed it through one guy.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.